that the biblical timescale
so
says all these dinosaurs were created and lived at the exact
venomfang, or venomfang rather, venomfang X, has videos on YouTube. I can't actually find his actual account, so this is like somebody else's account, Venom Moron X. Anyway, nonetheless, if you want to like leave a video, and I'm talking to Venom Fang X, if you want to leave a video response to my video, please do so. I'd love to have a back and forth with you. But I want to recommend a website to you, this website here. So do a search on Lenny Flank. Read this website, read through all of this stuff here, and if you read through all of that, you'll have a much better understanding about what you're trying to talk about. Another website I have here, and my favorites that you need, is this website here by UC Berkeley. This website is about evolution, and it teaches, this is professors from UC Berkeley that put the site together teaching evolution to science teachers, that is high school science teachers, how to properly teach high school students evolution. So very good site, recommend reading it. Go to table of contents, just read through this site, learn properly about evolution so you don't make simple mistakes like you always do throughout your videos. Okay, so back to the video here, the mistake you made as you go on talking, and I don't see any reason to keep on playing it, and he shows us CNN, actually real quick, he shows us CNN reference, and he makes a big deal about it.
For the science section, right over here, it says dinosaurs coexisted with their ancestors.
Okay, now he goes on to make a big deal about this. Dinosaurs coexist with their ancestors, therefore all this strata has to be knocked out supposedly, but he doesn't have a basic understanding of what he's talking about, that is evolution. So real quick, I'm going to just draw a quick thing here. So you have a common ancestor to the dinosaurs, and something happens that causes this common ancestor to split. It's the same species at this point, but it's living in two different regions of the world now. Slightly separated, different. Maybe this is on an island and this is not now, so they're separated by some water. Same species at this point, genetically the same. They can still mate if they wanted to, if they can get to each other, but they have changed none so far. But the climate's different. So this species continues genetically being the same. This species, or this one, branches off and evolves, and it might take a few branches over here, dead ends. Anyway, eventually you get the precursor for dinosaurs. Now here, the common ancestor and the dinosaur are living at the same time. That's it. It's that simple. It's not rocket science. Living at the same time. That's how it happens. Okay, so he like made this big deal, like, oh my gosh, they're living at the same time. How can that be? That disproves evolution. It doesn't. That's how it happens. Very simple. Okay, the next mistake he keeps making throughout the video is he keeps saying that humans and monkeys are related. No, we're not. Humans and monkeys are not related. Humans and apes are related to a common ancestor. Here's common ancestor. Common ancestor evolves a few branches, meet dead ends, continues to evolve, and eventually this branch leads to humans and chimps and orangutans and all the other apes. So we didn't evolve from chimps. Chimps didn't evolve from humans. Humans didn't evolve from orangutans. Humans, chimps, orangutans, and the other apes evolved from a common ancestor a long, long time ago. That's the theory of evolution. So please get it right if you're going to talk about it. Study it. Study what you're going to talk about. It's common. Make sure you know what you're talking about before you talk about it. Okay, here's the next.
Here we have a series of 14 human footprints with at least 134 dinosaur tracks in the bed of the Paluxy River near Glen Rose, Texas.
Okay, no, wrong. Again, if you go to this site here, there's actually an article on this that gives facts. Also, there's articles at Talk Origins about this. Now, what's interesting here, and this is all documented, you can look all this stuff up. Let's go to the end right here. Neither the Creation Research Society nor the Institute for Creation Research nor Films of Christ maintains any longer that human footprints appear anywhere along the Paluxy River. It has been clearly identified as dinosaur footprints. Read this short article, you'll have a better understanding. Read some articles on Talk Origins, and take the time to look up these references that they give. That's what intelligent people do when they write articles, is they leave references for people to verify, and Talk Origins is very good at that. So check the references. You'll see no human footprints at Paluxy River. Sorry. You're living way in the past, and all of the creationists have caught up and understand they're not human footprints. Also, the creationists that have never believed that these were human footprints, their argument against the creationists that did was this. So here's creationists arguing with creationists, and this is back when, before they realized that these could not have been human. They said, if these are human footprints, what are humans doing walking around in sediment after the flood? In other words, this sediment was laid down after the flood. The flood waters are still really high, and there's no land to walk on yet. How are they walking? What are humans doing walking around on sediment they shouldn't be walking on? Matter of fact, no one's answered that question. People that believe in this don't answer that question. What are they doing walking on sediment they shouldn't be walking on? Anyway, another thing to consider, let's just suppose for a moment they were human footprints. It doesn't mean there was a worldwide flood. It could mean that extraterrestrials visited Earth back when dinosaurs walked the Earth billions of years ago. These human extraterrestrials that look very human came here from another planet, walked with the dinosaurs, and left our planet. Ta-da! So no, it doesn't have to be a worldwide global flood. That story is far more believable anyway. That is, the alien story is far more believable than the dumb Noah story.
Tree, also called a polystrate fossil. Poly means many, and strate refers to strata. This tree is sticking up through strata layers.
Okay, now, again, he's talking about subjects he's never studied. Subjects he knows nothing about. You could actually go again back to this website if you wanted to, and you can read about polystrate fossils, or you can go to Talk Origins. It's really simple to go to Talk Origins. talkorigins.org. Go to Search Archive. Here, you could type in polystrate fossils, and you can read different articles about it. This article here is actually a pretty good article, and it goes through, makes a really good case about how in the 19th century Christian people that did these studies, that did the geography studies and geology and so forth, they actually agreed with modern day geologists on how polystrate fossils are formed. And they didn't say it was caused by a worldwide flood. They maintain and agree that it is caused because the way that strata works, well, the assumption that they're making is, hold on a second, I don't think I'm going to have enough time. Okay, so the assumption that they're making is that as these layers of strata build up, that it's consistent, the same consistent speed, but that's not true. Sometimes, as they're building up, you get a big chunk, and then they keep going like this. That big chunk is caused by a landslide, caused by a localized flooding, caused by a mountain slide, and so forth. And this can cover a tree very rapidly, and then the strata will continue going slow like this year after year. So that's what geologists in the 19th century understood, Christian geologists. So these arguments are just so dumb. They don't even make sense to 19th century Christians. All right, so then he goes on to talk about the fossils and how some fossils can be formed really quickly. Yeah, that's true, they can. Others would take a long time. And then he goes on to talk about how there's living fossils, and somehow because there's living fossils, this means that there's not creatures that are really old. What I want to know is, if God cares so much about his creation, why are 90% of the species that lived extinct, no longer walking the earth, gone, just like that? Then he goes on to say we're made in the image of God. I want to know how that's possible, and here's my time left. I want to know how that's possible. How are we made in the image of God? I thought God was an infinite, eternal entity. Infinite meaning without boundary, no shape or form. You can't be infinite and have a shape or a form. Not possible. So tell me, how can God be infinite and we're in his image and likeness? Also, he's eternal, so there's an infinite gap between us and God. Infinite gap. How can we be anything in the likeness of God? Infinite gap there. So I want to answer to that question. How can we be in the image or likeness of God when God can have no image, because he is invisible first off, and he's infinite, I suppose. That's what people claim. So my time is now up. Answer those questions. How can we have the likeness of God when there's an infinite gap?